All right, so now let's jump into the coding. All right, guys. So first thing we're going to do is obviously open up VS Code. So I'm going to click the little start button up here. I'm going to type code. And before I click it, I'm going to right click and choose add to panel. That's going to add it to the upper right corner here so that we have it for easy access. Now I can click this and open it up. All right, so we need to create our file. If I click Python pen testing, you can see we've got this folder here located in Documents Python pen testing. I can click the new file icon, and we're just going to name this email collection.py. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, now the first thing that's going to happen is going to say that the linter pylint is not installed. Now what is this? So VS Code wants you to install this, and you definitely want to, because this will make VS Code better. What it does is it will cause the IDE, the Integrated Development Environment, to passively sniff for programming errors as you code. So you can quickly catch syntax errors and other issues before they become problematic. All right, so we'll just click install. See a terminal opens up and you'll see the commands being run to install the linter. Should just take a few seconds. Okay, so it's done. We can click the X or we can press Control backtick. Backtick is usually under the escape key, shares a key with a tilde character. All right, so now that we've got that installed, let's import some libraries, okay? Because you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Python uses libraries, right? A library is just a reusable chunk of code, and it's known as a module. You can even have packages which are collections of modules. And the whole idea is you can call on these to help you accomplish your coding objectives. So what do we need? What do we want to do? Well, the first thing we need to do is build some network requests, right? So if I say import requests, I can actually import the request library, or module, I guess is a better term for it. And if I hover over it, you can see that this is a module called requests. It's part of the requests HTTP library, and it's a library written in Python for human beings, not for computers. All right, so we're going to want to get that. We're also going to want to get the exceptions request library, import requests. And if I hit the dot, you can see it auto completes, and you can see that there's actually a piece inside this package called exceptions. That's what we want. And if I mouse over again, you can see this module contains the exceptions. It's a way that we can handle HTTP errors. And if you want to get even deeper and look at what this does, click on the little terminal up here, and then go into Python 3 and just type import requests. And then you can type help and put in the module that you just imported, and it'll show you what we saw with our mouse over. But even better, I hit Q to exit that. If you do dir requests, you can inspect this module and see the different functions and classes and everything that's inside of there. You can even see there's an exceptions piece right there, right? Let's exit. All right, so we've got our HTTP requests and our exceptions. What do we need next? Well, we need to use some kind of container data type. So there's a module called dequeue, which can easily add and remove items from containers on the fly, because we're going to have a collection of data and we want an easy way to manipulate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say from collections, that's the package, and I'm going to import a module. I just hit the D and it tab completed dequeue. And again, if I just mouse over it, you can see this is a list-like sequence optimized for data accesses near its endpoint. It's just a way that you can pop in and push and just send data out and onto and out of different data types. So if you ever want to get deeper and learn more about this stuff, if you go to, let's see, Chrome. All right, don't send any data to Google. They've got all your data. They've got all my data. Google already knows everything. So I'm going to type Python dequeue. And I want to go to the docs that are on Python's official website. You can see it's in the collections module. And here, dequeue, if I click that, you can get a really good understanding of what this does. We're actually going to be using a couple of these methods in here, like these pop methods and a few other things, but we'll get to that when we get there. And by the way, I should change this to match what we're using in VS Studio. See, this says 3.10.4. We're actually at 3.9. How did I know that? Because if I go back to VS Studio code, you can see it says it down here. All right, so now we need another module called URL-lib. And this is actually a Python package that contains several modules. But the one we're going to use is the .parse module inside the URL-lib package, because it'll help us to, any guesses? It'll help us to parse URLs, right? How to break them down. So you'll see why we need to do that. As you can imagine, we're scraping emails off of websites. So we're definitely going to parse. Parse is just a fancy term for, I guess you could say, scraping. So I'll say import URL-lib. And if I hit the dot, you can see I get a couple of options, and parse is what we want. And again, I can just mouse over it and I get some information here. Parse absolute and relative URL. So this is going to be really, really fun. Now, what else do we need? Well, we need to use regular expressions, and also known as ASCII puke. This is just a way for extracting data, right? There's a universal format. It's kind of complicated, a little bit esoteric, but don't worry, I'll help you understand it. But it's a way that we can extract text, any text really, almost anywhere, any way we want. So obviously with that kind of power, there's complexity, but with the RE module, we can simplify things a little bit. So we're going to say import RE. That is not for reverse engineer. It's for regular expressions. And this is how we can match on different characters. All right, so it's going to be really fun when we start playing with that. And then finally, we are going to import the Beautiful Soup module from the BS4 package. That is the Beautiful Soup version 4 package. So we can say from BS4 import beautiful. That is tab complete. And there we go. We've got Beautiful Soup. And what does Beautiful Soup do? I almost said, what does Beautiful Soup does? I sound like my 3-year-old son. Beautiful Soup, what it does is it's exactly what it says here, right? It's a data structure representing a parsed HTML or XML document. So it's a way that we can parse the HTML, get that stuff out. And as you can imagine, this is perfect for our email parser. All right, guys. So that's all we're going to do in this lecture. We're going to keep things really simple. I'm going to add multiple cursors by holding down Alt, clicking. And then I'm just going to hit delete to remove that space and escape. Control S to save. And we'll pick this up in the next lecture when we start coding. See you in a little bit. And don't forget to leave a review, a positive review, if you've learned something new. That's my motto. If you've learned anything new, even in the least, consider giving a 5-star review so we can get more people in this course and they can join you and share the awesome. All right. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Peace.